Hello everyone, my name is Colleen and I'm glad that you found your way here today. I was getting started making my lunch and I thought, why don't I set up the camera and film this. This is my lunch for today, and it's pretty simple. It doesn't require, a lot of time. So I'll gather up the rest of the things that I need and I'll be back here in just a minute. So today I'm going to make quesadillas for my lunch, and I had planned on doing this. So I took out 2 chicken breasts this morning and I put them into my Instant Pot. They were frozen hard as a brick. So I put them in the Instant Pot with a cup of water and 1 package of the OXO chicken bouillon. And I let that go for 20 minutes in there and then naturally release. And the chicken always comes out so nice and tender and moist when I do it that way. I guess you probably can't see that, but it's very moist. And there's no work for me to just pop it in the pot. So now I'm going to just take some of my homemade taco seasoning, which this was one of the first videos that I ever made, was on seasonings and blends, and this was in that first bunch. There were 2 videos, part 1 and part 2, and things that I still, well, I've always used and continue to use. So this is my homemade taco seasoning. I'll try and remember to link the video below where you could find that. And I'm just going to sprinkle some over top of this chicken, and I'm going to pop it into a frying pan on the stove so that it can get a little warmed up and be a little more satisfying, I guess. Okay, so I've got the chicken in there, and under normal circumstances I would probably just use a jar of salsa from the grocery store, and I have some in the cupboard, but I had a few things in my pantry or in my refrigerator that I wanted to get used up. So I am going to make a little bit of guacamole and also a little bit of pico de gallo. And I will start with the guacamole, and I'm not going to add tomatoes to this guacamole because I am going to use them in the pico de gallo, so, or the fresh salsa, as some people like to refer to it. I am going to just remove the pits. None of these things take very long. And I'm going to put this on the board, and I'm going to remove my hands and get a grip on that pit. I had a recent visit to my doctor, and she said that one of the most common emergencies that they deal with at the hospital is accidents where people are taking the pit out of avocado and they're holding it in their hand and cutting down on it, which is what I've always done. Guess I shouldn't be doing that anymore. Anyway, so I'm just going to put this avocado into a bowl. Notice a little bit of brown on that one. I'm just going to remove it and carry on. Same with this one. I think 2 is plenty. It's just me, although my niece may come along in a bit, and if she does, she may want some too. So, and this will make her happy. She loves this kind of simple fare as well. Now, there you go. Now, I'm just going to mash that. I think I'll just use a fork. Because I do want it kind of chunky still. I've got the avocado mashed up as much as I want it to be. And now I'm going to get out the lime. And for each lime, or sorry, for each avocado, these were smaller avocados, but for each avocado, generally the rule of thumb is the juice of 1 lime for every 1 avocado. I don't think I'm going to need quite that much, but these are stubborn little limes. Now, if you've ever made this yourself, you might have a different way that you do it. And this is certainly, I'm not saying that this is culturally appropriate, because I know that it's not, but it's how we do it here at our house. And I think actually the juice of one is enough in there. And so now I'm just going to add a bit of onion to it. I'll set those aside for the next bit here. And we're having quite a nice day here in Golden. It's about -7 degrees Celsius, which is nice compared to what we've had. The snow is not falling today. We have had about maybe 14 inches of snow this year, which is really not a lot for us. So down here in the valley, we're not complaining. Golden is home to North America's newest all-season resort. I think that's what they call themselves, Horse Mountain Resort. And it is beautiful up there. And they get beautiful snowfalls, and they attract a lot of people from all over the world, because we're quite famous for our champagne snow, they call it, because it's so light, because the area is so dry at the top of the mountains that the snow comes down quite dry. I'm just going to add about, I don't know, 3 tablespoons of onion into this mix. I'm going to add some salt and pepper and just give this a stir. Getting it stirred up as quickly as you can will help to stop the avocado from browning. It's all covered in the lime juice. But to help it out even further, I'm going to put a piece of plastic wrap on it. Not on the bowl, on the surface of the guacamole, because air is the enemy here. So you can put it on top of the bowl, but then you've just trapped air inside the bowl. So try to get it right onto the surface of the guacamole. And I'll stick that in the fridge right now. Now in another bowl, I'm going to put in more of the onion. And I might put it all in there actually. I know it's quite a bit, but I don't mind. I'm going to open up these cherry tomatoes, because that's all I happen to have at the moment. And I'm going to cut these up. Now I've got one little jalapeno. Maybe I didn't even say that correctly. I'm only making a small batch, so I'm only going to put maybe a quarter of this in here. And I am going to remove the seeds, because when it comes to heat, I'm a wuss. And I don't like a lot of it, although I do like the flavor that you get from the pepper. So I'm going to dice it up pretty small, or as small as I can get it. Just made little slivers. And that is quite a bit. And to this also I'm going to add some cilantro that I've washed. And I do love cilantro. So I am just going to do a bunch of that. It's starting to look like a cilantro salad. Okay. Now, I'm going to do some salt and pepper. So into this bowl, I'm going to do some salt and pepper. And lime juice. So I am going to probably put in at least this full one that I had left over, and then I will test it and see if I need anything else. Now, you can buy the salsa or pico de gallo at the store. You can buy the guacamole at the store. So really, you can cut down a lot of steps here and make this just like a super quick lunch. Today, I just happen to have a little bit of time, so I'm going to do it more or less from scratch. But you could certainly make this go a lot faster. You could even use like rotisserie chicken or any leftover chicken that you had to make this. So now I think we have our base elements ready. I do know that for my quesadilla I'm going to use some purple onion, so I'm going to get that ready now. And then I think we are ready to move over to the stove and start to put this all together. I'm going to cut this in half and use some thin slices. Sorry about that. Forgot about the towel again. There we go. And those can go on to my tortillas. Now I'm just going to warm up the stove. I have a tablespoon, I have the tortillas here. I'm going to butter them and get them ready to go into the pan. I have buttered up the side of a small tortilla. I think this is maybe 6 inches. And I'm going to put it into the pan, and you know that the pan is hot. It is quite warm. I'm going to turn it down just a titch. And then I'm going to start layering stuff onto it. So the first thing I'm going to add is some cheddar cheese. And I am just going to put a good layer on there. And then I'm going to add maybe just a little bit of mozzarella for the meltiness. And then I'm going to add some chicken right out of the pan beside. And some of the purple onion we cut up. And a little dash of cilantro. And some more mozzarella. So I've removed the quesadilla from the pan. Look at how crispy it is. Maybe you can hear it even. And I've got it on a plate. So I'm going to bring you along with me while I get the rest of this all sorted out. Now I'm just going to cut this. I should have put it on the board to do it. It would make it a little easier, I'm sure. And I'm just going to quarter it. And I think I'm glad I have company coming, because even though this is only a 6-inch, it's quite a bit. Now I've got them out onto the plate. I think they look absolutely divine. And I'm going to add some of my pico de gallo right here on the plate. I'm going to add some of my guacamole, also right here. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to add some sour cream. And there we go. That's what's for lunch at my house. And when I look at it, I think it's not so bad for healthy. So I hope that you'll give this a try. It's really not as hard as you might think, especially if you replace the homemade guacamole with a store-bought or the pico de gallo with salsa from the bottle, then it would go quite quickly. So please consider giving it a try. I'm sure that you'll enjoy it, and I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day. I look forward to being here with you again soon. So take care, everybody. Bye-bye.